Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot on the back of Chris Huck this game to have a lot of impact on the Storm. He doesn't have many stuns on his team besides like Chrono, and you don't want to depend on Chrono to do everything for you. And it's a good matchup, Storm versus Pango. It's kind of one of the more famous matchups. When you pick Pango, you think Ember, Puck, Storm is the big three to counter you in the mid lane. So he has a little advantage draft-wise, and it's just a lot. He is playing versus Silence on Drow. He's playing versus the Pango, which, you know, in some cases is good versus him with the built-in BKB, even all the save from Undying. So he's got his work cut out for him.
Yeah, it's not like a hex, but, you know, it's if you make one bad zip a little bit too close, you don't have that initiation coming in first from one of your allies. Certainly could be a problem there for C-Smile.
Well, and we also should mention real quickly too, there's, you know, so much that's kind of been made about, okay, the aggressive style that we see out of South America and stuff like that. And I think that's very true for Thunder Awakened. But when you look at Beast Coast, this is a team that's very comfortable going into the late game. And with this lineup, you've got a Faceless Void, you've got a Storm Spirit running out there late. There's some interesting stuff going on. Is there a particular team that you feel like you favor if we get to that late game scenario?
I think still probably LGD. Beast Coast have a more early mid-game timing with the Wraith Pact on Visage. LGD don't have a Wraith Pact buyer, so this early, you know, 15 to 25 minutes where the Wraith Pact really matters is in Beast Coast's favor. In addition to, you know, that's the big Storm timing. He has this Ags timing later in the game, but there's not an amazing follow-up outside of a snap, I would say. So probably when it gets to late game, the power of Drow Slardar will kind of kick in once we get to the 30, 40 minute mark. But I think early game, it's very good chance that, you know, they get run over by Enchantress on the pressure mid, Visage on the pressure bot, even just a random Chrono here or there, getting some important kills into Roshan.
Like you were pointing out there, Lyrical, certainly not been their forte necessarily over the year as well. Like when you tend to tune into some of the Beast Coast TBC games, you'll often find that they're behind.
Right.
You know, they tend to drop sometimes in the laning stage. They don't quite get like that same aggression as like maybe like 2 years ago, where you'd always see this rotation of like Hector's playing a stun in the carry lane, right? He gets the stun into the rotation from mid.
Speaking of some rotations, Ame in a lot of trouble as they run him down. He might just be dead as the chase continues. That is a First Blood Whisper claiming this early. You get this start for a Visage can be very scary as the lane goes on.
One of the big things with Visage is this hero plays to win the lane. The entire concept of the hero is use all of your mana to deal so much damage and hope you get the kills so you buy the mana back, which was, you know, one of the slight concerns about Snapfire. You can't melee body up for the Visage. It's a lot of commitment if you go in, but they get the first blood. That's a lot of regen, some stats that Whisper will get, and now is where the lane looks hard.
Yeah, that's where Wise going to put in that big work there on the Undying. Of course, a hero well known for trying to do this, right? Bully right back. Also, just trying to spend all of your gold for mana. Sitting with a full-on fruit stand here of 6 mangoes, ready to spam some decay.
Yeah, and in the mid lane, I think this is where the supports really want to rotate, especially the Enchantress. I think we're going to see an early rotation at even the 5-minute mark on the Siege, where, you know, nothing to say maybe dies once, even he'll die again, and that's where the game completely breaks down if it happens.
You're seeing Stinger up there also already trying to put some harassment and took over the range creep. That piercing damage, pretty good at being able to deny out some of those creeps, but needs to watch out for the arrow coming from Xingqiu. So we'll keep our eyes on that, but again, down bottom, the aggression and why just drops again. We talked about Whisper. Watch out for this guy. He has been having a hell of a tournament.
Yeah, and this is one of those issues with Undying. Like, you see it early in the tournament, and obviously the hero's still very strong, but there's certain matchups that you don't really want to be playing into. You're hoping for like double melee strength heroes, right? That's kind of the dream. And what do you got here? You just have a ranged strength hero and you have a Visage, right? People are always like, they understand that Undying's still strong, especially through like the mid game and even some parts of the later game with the vision from the Tombstone. But when you can find these lane punishes, that's where it feels like you're actually like able to sort of remove some of the benefits they're getting from that hero.
He just keeps buying mangoes. He brought another one out too. So why? Hopefully going to be able to use those. If he keeps dying, that is not going to end up serving him too well. But
a lot of free mangoes when you die.
That's fair.
But yeah, so Visage is the way you beat Undying a lot of the time is Zoo. A lot of summons, and Visage has the summons. He has the laning versus him. The birds kill the Tombstone in the mid to late game with all the attack speed. So really nice matchup. It's generally just that Undying has a slight edge in the lane if his carry is able to be aggressive with him, but they don't really have the opportunity. I think they kind of lost it, especially with that first blood, just giving so much gold away. And now LGD is just hoping to go for an even lane bot.
It feels like so often you'll see the position 5 try that exact same play, where they come down in the lane, you're really hoping to catch the carry, and rarely works, but that time that it does, it just does so much for you. It reminds me of like trying to snipe the early courier mid or something for the mid laner's bottle.
The bounties and pubs.
Yeah.
Level 1, sitting with a ward sitting behind the tower.
That's the nice way to go. Well, again, this bottom lane, definitely very happy for it for Beast Coast. Nothing to say. Going to take some pressure mid and see Smile right on top of him. Oh, miss uphill. Oh, gets out of there, just barely.
It's the whittling down, though, right?
XinQ is walking behind him, though, on the mid lane.
Yeah, and this has been something for these Miranas.
Oh, a nice move. XinQ, it's got him caught. Can he survive? Fairy Fire, try turn. Oh, see Smile, able to live. See Smile gets the kill first. Oh, he turned a catastrophe into something still not great, but better than nothing.
It's not the worst. Gets XP. He gets to TP back mid. He's missing probably around 3 creeps. So it's neither of the mids actually get really an advantage from this. It's mostly that now he gets the full reset, but Pango obviously gets the bottle fill now from Mirana, so could be worse.
Yeah. At least it was exciting, right? You know, kind of cheer a little bit. This is all good.
Ever the showman.
It's these main stage Miranas, though, sometimes struggling for these earlier plays. Some games going really well, other not so much. As now XinQ can run to Stinger. This is a tried and true matchup for the Mirana. Obviously, you can try and arrow into the creep if you can, but look at that positioning from Stinger to ensure it's not going to be possible.
Very well done. Yeah, they're definitely taking it to him here on the earlier side. And, well, Hector, in the meantime, up top, K1, still able to farm, but you can see that in spite of some of those nice moves and the lane going well early, the CS heavily into the favor of LGD.
Yeah, Whisper has, he's 2 kills right now, but he only has 10 last hits, so this is the Drow and dying. Just a strong lane to just sit there, last hit. If you can't push them out, they'll always LCS you.
Runs rolling the dice up top here as well, and a jump in, tries to get Stinger.
It's not going to be quite enough. So XinQ can't get that one. There's more aggression down bottom too. Just madness all around these lanes. Gojira in some trouble. We'll try and survive through it as the K runs off. But Ame right on top, denied. Nicely played. There was about 60 damage total there, and he took every one of them.
Something interesting is Fatebion, it looks like he almost might just rush the Mask of Madness. He picks up an early Morbid Mask, which I don't know if we've seen that much. Especially after the nerf to creeps. So the laning stage of it's a little weaker and it's better in this mid game where you're actually hitting heroes with it. So he probably recognizes that Hector can't jungle. He has to sit in the lane versus him, so he'll always be able to hit him. It gives him sustain as opposed to the offlaners usually by the Helm or the Ring of Health. So it's an interesting way to play.
Yeah, and Stinger, of course, like wanting to do a little bit of rotations early on too. So creating this 1v1 scenario that you want to be advantaged in for the Slider.
Nothing to say, gets level 6 first, and C-Smile will now get it. So
Fatebion, yeah, I feel like it's just like a dice roll up here, right? Like one good bash from the Faceless Void, turn into something, one good arrow. Everyone just battling over these creeps, the Harpy spams it out.
Keeping
the
it.
6-minute rune, very important for both teams.
And it looks like it is going to spawn up top. C-Smile picks that one up. It's an illusion, so not a kill rune, but can get him out of dodge if there starts to be some trouble. Still very even early on here as the rotation comes down bottom. That keeps him alive in case of a gust, and Ame is just going to fall here as Whisper makes another kill happen. So good rotation from C-Smile.
It's really important when you're losing the CS in the lanes and you know that just sitting there extending the laning stage is not favoring you as much to just connect your cores. They bring the Storm to bot there. He's probably going to sit here now and just make it so that if Ame TP's bot, he feels bad. He feels pressure from the Storm. Now his Snapfire is getting experience mid, so he'll get an early level 6. And it's just a big question, is Ame going to TP bot, try to accept this pressure, or is he going to TP top and try to pressure with the Slardar?
Yeah, it's a tough call to make. And I mean, Snapfire probably, in my opinion, one of the absolute best 5s for when you're in this state of like maybe feeling you're a little bit behind, you're pressured to make moves. Getting level 6 on Snapfire just feels like the freest way to kill like any core in the game.
It's just so much damage, especially early when you get the Snapple around the 8-9 minute mark. Cores aren't even expecting it.
No.
They just get one stun, the Snapple just kills them.
Well, you can see up there too, getting closer on that Faceless Void ulti as well. The Chrono would be a huge setup for it. They get the root on the Fatebion, just trying to mess around with them a little bit here. But does get the deny from Stinger as well. The rotation, moving in, Snapfire right on top of him. XinQ going to be forced to leap away, uses 2 of them to get out. So just being a little bit of a bully there as Whisper down bottom is also going to be in a big way trouble. Ame finds that kill. They drop the tombstone for it as well. And just like that, LGD, they pick up another one.
I think it's a little scary for them to keep to bring all their supports top and abandon the Visage. I think they keep having success when they bring heroes there. Here's so much damage this early. If the Storm goes there, the Snap, they'll probably just kill the Drought every time they go, but they abandon him. The Pango walks over casually, gets a free kill, TP's mid.
Yeah, it feels like they're being pressured in terms of Hector. I just want to make sure that he gets off to a good game. Being a Faceless Void and, like you said, not really wanting to go to the jungle this early on, so that pressure is really hurting them a bit here. But another rotation here. SeaSmile with a good rune.
What can they find? Faithbeyond interrupted before he can get the crush. And another kill for Beast Coast. You can see, though, that LGD, in spite of the kill advantage favoring Beast Coast, they're doing a good job of farming up the rest of the map, biding their time, waiting for their moment.
They're making so many moves, people can't even like rotate mid for the wave and just like run back in time, so missing out on a couple creeps here. But Gojira gets there now, so we'll be able to grab that. And
also, interesting from him on the Snap, he's actually maxing his E and going Medallion. This is a build, it was like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
I think it was very popular. Nowadays, a lot of people go 4-4-0, they rush the Force Staff, they go the Shard. So I think he's trying to buff up the physical damage, especially from the Visage in this early game, give them a lot of tower pressure, tanks them up.
Yeah, you kind of have a choice, right? Where if you, let's say you go 4-4-0, you're essentially going to amplify everything that Storm wants to do. Those little gank plays, that big burst damage. Is Whisper, though, again, same issue. Like, the rotation's
Whoa,
really
he missed
well.
a miss. Oh, nothing to say. A rare miss for him indeed, and that Chronosphere just going to be used to get Whisper out of there. LGD not used to seeing those. That's not enough for the kill on the second go. And, well, Beast Coast gifted another chance to survive through it, and Hector getting away. Gojira moves in. They're not going to dive for this. The Visage Bird's also going down. Xingqiu shows up. Arrow connects. All right, this is a very weird state of affairs down bottom. After they didn't kill Whisper, everything else is just kind of
TP
awkward.
Storms with full mana.
Looking for it. Jump in. LGD, they stuck around a bit too long. Silence, though, long duration cookie for round 2. SeaSmile looking for the chase. Wants to play aggro here. But Drought keeps hitting him, and he has to back out. Now, this is all space for Faithbeyond up top to just keep farming. Well, basically, the only thing they get is a kill on the Undying. Very weird series.
And now a race to the haste rune in the river.
He gets it. So SeaSmile picks that one up.
Okay, so Chrono gone. Was for the save, though. That's great. Obviously, Rolling Thunder being used there as well. That's going to be back pretty quick, though, if they want to put this pressure on the mid lane. Got to be looking for Gojira with the level 6 soon, though. Very close right now.
The really important thing is, as well, is all the TPs were used. Only Whisper has TP now, and he's going to have to TP to his lane to have some impact, and he has to resummon birds as well. Another gank, his birds die, and he's out of the game for 2 minutes. It's just scary for the map right now for Beast Coast.
Look at LGD. All 4 heroes immediately converge up top. They want to try and take this tower and claim one of these objectives, while simultaneously bottom, they're going on to Beast Coast a little bit here. SeaSmile with the haste rune, out of mana, stepping away. But they do have those kisses ready.
Yeah, not much you can do in this situation. Nothing to say, sort of holding into the mid lane, so it'll just be a tower trade right now. But yeah, back to that build on the Snapfire, though. This idea of, do I want to go for this ganking potential with the high damage nukes that everyone usually goes for the Snap, or am I going to try and buff up this big tempo, this whole plan that we have? Because they could Roche extremely early at this point right now, with even just like the smallest win from Beast Coast, which is something that is also in the cards for LGD when you have this Slardar. So it could be a slightly earlier timing on that battle of the territory in this game.
Both teams have this really early Roche. Even the fight. Both teams have really nice fighting potential around the Roche pit. So the next probably 4 or 5 minutes is going to be, especially when it hits nighttime at 15 minutes, that's where teams are going to be looking for just one kill, forcing a Roche fight. LGD drop the Tombstone, you can't really walk into Roche. The side of Beast Coast, if they don't use Chrono, you also don't want to walk into a Chrono.
I feel like the Tombstones have been extremely hard to kill, I will say, for a lot of the matches on the main stage, but this game, pretty good from Beast Coast. Like, quite a few different range heroes, good mobility. Yep, Snapfire is like the ideal one, of course. We've often seen, though, unfortunately, the Snapfires have been missing, going for those uphill kills. And unfortunately, you're not getting any more attacks with those higher levels.
I also think the scary thing is that since it's maxed, you want to always use it. But
yeah, that's true.
For it now, Chrono connects onto 2, and Gojira immediately there with the big ulti. Rolls through, tries to interrupt. Will it be enough? Silence now onto SeaSmile. He'll die, but they get 2 in turn. Now trying to get a little bit of separation. A good roll ends up bringing down Stinger, but then the cookie, and now onto Ame. A couple more punches. Hector has him for the double kill. They get the invis to try and survive through this, and nothing to say, still sticking around, but he might have stuck around a bit too long. Do they have any detection? It doesn't look like it. So like that, Beast Coast win a very nice fight here. Gets set up for a good mid game.
Yeah, that was a really nice Chrono.
They dropped a sentry in the middle of that fight as well there too, so unfortunately their last one being used, or maybe there could have been a chase opportunity there. Nothing to say.
It looked a little scary when Chris got stunned by the Pango roll after jumping in, but there's enough damage between the snap and the storm slightly jumping in on the chrono just to kill both the Slardar and dying.
Yeah, she was half the damage in that fight there. Oh,
The arrow! Xingqiu timed it perfectly. Gojira did not use that cookie that time around. So LGD, they're going to get what they came for here, maybe.
This is going to be on off cooldown too while he's dead. It hurts.
Not the Midas.
The pain.
LGD is probably just going to take the mid tower, and again, mid tower is very important. It opens up the map a lot. It gives you entrance to both of the jungles. It lets you push the mid wave out to give a lot of vision to yourself, so it even gives Roche potential. So with this win, even though BeastCoast probably take the fight win, the map win is in LGD's favor.
I love how involved Ame's been in these fights too, particularly with this build, right? Like, just gets into the Dragonlance, but like having, have Falcon Blade, Wraith Band, Wand, like you're just such a strong hero in these engagements that even though you did go down that last fight, you can see like still well on top of the board right now in the net worth.
Yeah, and something also interesting is not interesting, is that Gus got movement speed fairly recently when you use it. So now Drows are able to show up to fights a lot earlier, have actually mobility instead of being a very slow hero, and we might see him take the town at level 10 as well to get another 15% movement speed. He took damage, so as I say that.
No, he's got enough. He's hanging out there. It's really interesting, the dynamic that we're seeing with these longer cooldowns that BeastCoast are playing around with. As soon as the fight, even if it's a loss for LG, they just run back in there ready to go for another round of it. And we'll have to see if BeastCoast can sort of match that tempo.
Yeah, Drow used to be one of the older school counters to Void, because you would lose the fight to Chrono, you would take Roche, you would take Tower. This was back when Drow Aura was way more global, this damage for everyone.
Back when Drow and Visage were on the same team.
Yeah,
not like this.
Yeah. Another kill there. Stinger will drop, loses his creep to boot.
That's fine. There was a smoke coming through there, so
Fair.
Tanks it for the team. Make sure that Hector gets out with his Midas build, right? Got to keep him farming.
Closer we now. The Wraith Pact is about to be completed. Whisper even foregoing boots in this game to just get it that much quicker.
It's got wings.
On the Visage.
He's a win lace.
Yeah, fair.
And we'll see Chris Luck. He is probably deciding right now between going for the full Kaya Sanj or the BKB. He just bought the Ogre Club. He has nothing queued, and it probably depends on how the next fight goes. If he's able to slow the fight down and wait till he gets to jump at the, he gets to wait for the perfect opportunity. He doesn't need a BKB, but if he feels forced that he always needs to jump in first, he doesn't really need to do damage, then he'll go BKB.
Yeah, that's a tough call this game, actually. Because like with Visage and Faceless Void as your other two cores, I mean, I definitely like the BKB a lot.
I like the BKB as well.
What a cool build by the Drow, too. You see this going immediately into the Shard after Falcon Blade Dragonlance.
Seeing a lot of this hypothermia. People are big fans.
But
very good versus the Void.
Moonlight Shadow now. LGD looking for a fight. They do manage to hit on that scan, but
I've noticed both teams really love the notice me spam. This has been evolving through the tournament. All the LGD games spamming it quite a bit.
yeah.
Gojira.
Didn't even see it themselves, but yeah, he's going to be found. Cookies away, as there was a chance for a battle there, but backs out.
The sentry does clip that ward, so when he walks up the high ground, he sees it. Probably going to look to de-ward it and hope there's no hero still standing there waiting for him.
Oh, Arcane Rune there gets denied by the Visage Bird.
Well, more time just to farm up for Ame, and likewise for K1.
I wonder how much pressure LGD feel about taking this Roche.
I don't think they feel much pressure in terms of like we need to Roche. It's very important for us. It's mostly that you're going to always watch their smoke paths, and that the way they slowly move around the map are always going to be angles towards taking the dire jungle. And you see there, they smoke up there. They don't get a kill, but if they get a kill, they instantly would go Roche. So all of their moves are going to kind of not really go towards this bot area. It's a lot going to be towards mid or towards top, trying to get areas, get wards down. And once they get a kill, then they go to Roche.
Denied.
Midas used in the mid lane. Xingqiu did realize that they're in the area. So they will wrap around towards this tower. It actually gives a lot of information that the Faceless Void is with them for this push.
Okay.
He's away though now.
Not too close.
He's
back to the jungle.
He's just baiting, He's Midas mids, they hear it, and I'm back to the jungle. And so one thing we've talked a lot about with the Pangos lately has been these Wraith Packs, right? But nothing to say going for the Diffusal of the Blink, the more classic style, I guess, in this mid lane. And that means that we will have just the Wraith Band, or the Wraith Pack versus no Wraith Pack as for now. from the side of Beast Coast.
Yeah, a lot of the Pangos that go right back to the offlane, the mids generally have been going more towards damage. Even some Pangos skip Blink.
Yeah.
Because you can't chain stun with the BKB.
Here we go now into the jungle. They're going to, again, Moonlight Shadow, but you can see Dire's scan recognizing that they're coming that way and immediately spamming out the voice line. Whisper realizing that there's danger coming his way with nobody shown on the map. So another movement from LGD that does not bear fruit. Has to dodge out of that one. Q rotates up top. Gojira is nearby, and they will get that D ward. Down bottom, looking for it. Chase on to Stinger. The heal is there and gonna try and take a walk away, but eventually Faith will clean up that kill. Themselves another one.
And then the TP's top instantly. They're going to try to get this kill into Roche. Now that they get one hero, they want to chain kill 1, 2 more, maybe 3 heroes, and then just force the Roche. And that's why you see BEASTCOAST TP's bots try to avoid it.
Looking for Faith. He was able to dodge out, and are you going to try and go here? There's no way that Faith can do something in this moment.
That's a tough area to play with for a Pango, I think.
They recognize all the TPs from BEASTCOAST were towards bot. They can't get to the Roche pit now.
Very well played by LGD, and into the pit they go. So a little bit of just fancy movement around the map and baiting things out, and this is going to grant them an Aegis.
That was so much patience here from LGD.
There's also this perfect ward. BEASTCOAST watches the entire LGD, walks into the Roche pit.
Oh! Just jumps in though! They didn't get out in time, and the Snapfire ultimate coming down. Will it be enough damage? Dodges back away from the silence, away from the stun. Nothing to say, trying to get aggro here. But with the rest of BEASTCOAST chasing, that is Chrono down, and they need to get some more here. They try and pull in, nothing to say. He's controlled, he's gonna be killed. Can they find any more? They don't get the Aegis carrier, but they do find Undying Pango.
Yeah, close to also bringing down the Slider there too, but it feels a lot better if you've got nothing to say.
Wait a minute, what? Hector jumps away, force staff out. Things are getting a little bit weird here. As Whisper turns, ready to fight. The birds, they're on top of him. Ame goes down.
Stinger's still sticking around. They didn't want to bail on this.
BEASTCOAST, they're ready to keep fighting. Ame right on top of him. Why?
No way.
Save the Trout. Somehow, some way. BEASTCOAST make it work.
You did your best.
Okay. They just kept chasing, and it worked out.
There's Ame piked on the high ground. I think he was trying to get an angle slightly on the low ground. He pikes himself, pushes the Hector away. He lives with just a sliver of health, doesn't get the last hit. And there's no BKBs on the side of LGD, so outside of Faith Beyond.
How did this happen? Yeah, just stuck around a bit too long there. And
yeah, there's that bad angle, as you said. Not quite able to get it right there. And it's so isolated at this point, too, because, you know, we talk about how, like, sure, the Slider did survive, but obviously felt pressure to just bail. Had to go back, regen a little bit up before getting back into the fight. And I love the confidence as well from BEASTCOAST. So I think a lot of teams right there might have backed up and just been, like, thinking that, okay, the rotations are coming back in. We've lost, you know, our Faceless Void isn't here. Storm's not that close right now. But they had the confidence there with the Visage and the big amount of burst damage that they have there to bring her down.
They're ready to go again, just like that. BEASTCOAST round 2 of this one.
And this is showing Whisper top on the lane, right?
They're right on top. The catch is there. Why? Do you have the answer? They drop down the sentry, but Ame, he gets enough separation. They did not have Kisses ready to go. Storm backs out. Stinger trying to escape. And it looks like with that, BEASTCOAST, they're going to lose Stinger, but everybody else gets out. Oh, man. If Ame died right there, we're really starting to sweat for LGD at this point.
That was a good attempt, right? Showing Whisper up top, very clearly on the lane like that, and then everyone else is sort of sneaking their way made to try and bring down Ame quick, but they were ready there in the wings on the side of LGD to help protect them.
So this is the scary BEASTCOAST timing, as we said. It's you jump on the Drow, you kill the Drow, LGD lose a lot of damage. Faith Beyond does a lot himself, but Ame's kind of the centerpiece of this draft. Again, you know, nothing to say, goes for the Blink Dagger. He doesn't have a crazy amount of damage. He's going for the Basher next, which also doesn't really give him an absurd amount of damage. He's mostly playing to control the enemy and just create chaos and space for Ame. So maybe Hector just Chronos him by himself every fight with a Snapple. He dies. If he doesn't have buyback, the fight's over.
Right.
It feels so... I don't know, it's obviously been pretty incredible, some of the Pango plays, when you do get that good dice roll, be it the disarms, be it the bashes, but it's also something where you have to be very quick to react from the side of LGD to how you play off of those chain stuns, right? Like, oh, Storm's bash, you know, quick, someone get the follow-up.
Right, no, absolutely. Well, and there is still, of course, a hero that we haven't really seen be able to make a ton happen yet, and that's Faith Beyond. Has gone for a little bit more of like this farming build. Maskaban has BKB done now and almost at the Blink Dagger. That feels like it could be another turning point here for LGD to give them more avenues to take these fights, turn things around.
BEASTCOAST don't have the greatest save. They just have a cookie. So I think his goal right now is to be able to get strong enough that he can go on the Void and kill the Void along with his Drow or Pango. Like just 2 cores jump the Void, you kill him. BEASTCOAST does a lot of their big team fight spells. And again, this is just it all goes down to the Aegis. Losing that Roche makes it so you can't push tier 2s without getting chronoed, and it just is scary for them.
The way Hector plays this too.
Look at this now. They're moving up. LGD know that they're going to be in the triangle. Can they take this fight though? They're going to be underneath a BEASTCOAST ward. The smoke on smoke action. They know they're in the area. Arrow. Hector, oh, he gets bashed right at the start. Roll through round 2. Can he get it off in time? BKB out. Wants to jump forward. Finds a couple, but it's not a great target. The chrono, he catches Name on the backside. Immediately. See Smile right on top. They find him, but do they have the control? The bird drop a couple more stuns. Force staff to the low grab. Keeps him fine for now. Faith Beyond ready to fight. Going toe to toe against C Smile. Hector and now on to Whisper. They're in trouble. They got to get the hell out of here. And BEASTCOAST lose it as LGD say no.
Nothing to say. He silently, after the roll, he walks all the way towards the mid lane. He's following Hector because he's Corrosive Haze the entire fight. He uses after the BKB, catches him on the mid lane. He goes down. And just, again, the chrono is really important for them.
Yeah, and it gets so spread out after that too, right? The Tombstone's on the high ground as well. Like, they had the vision, but they couldn't quite even just get the timing to bring it down.
Gotcha.
What a strange start to that fight too, right? Like, Hector getting stunned up, doesn't have the time walk to get rid of it right away too. It's been too long with everything happening there, and the kisses coming through, not quite connecting. But then this sort of, you think this salvages it for a moment, right?
It just looks so scary. You can see Hector has to run away. He's not able to jump the Drow with his team. There's not much follow-up. The chrono, while he catches the Drow, also cuts off the whole team from getting to the Drow. They have to walk in a long, roundabout way around the bubble, and it's too slow.
Wow, they were able to make that one work for LGD. Of course, you think about how different that fight goes if Nothing to Say doesn't have the roll already going as they go into it. So really impressive performance from them. As LGD, that all starts seeing that they were going to move up into that high ground and then run into them after.
Now we're kind of like slapping down the old reset button here. We're going to look around, try and get some wards down that same area around Roche, right? And potentially like 2 minutes away from that's going to start spawning. Roche and tier 2s pretty much. That's the time of the game that we're at now.
And so this is the really impactful part of the fight. It's not actually just winning the fight and while they're dead. It's actually the chrono cooldown. So there's no chrono. We'll probably see LGD try to take the tier 2 tower because again, they all want this map control. Their entire goal this game is to get Aegis so that they don't die in the chrono. That's all they need to do. So anytime they use chrono, you want to take a tower and try to force an outpost.
You can see 50-50 just about. Slight edge towards LGD at this point in the game. They're going to get close, it looks like, to trading off tier 2 towers, both top and bottom at this point. Let's see if they actually get it. But we also saw that Xingqiu, he's the one that's eyeing up that next Wraith Pack. So it's going to be a significant amount of time before LGD have theirs completed.
I'm trying to think of a solution for if Hector gets gone on first. And they're really like, no, it's really not. Like, you can't even buy one really. Like with these heroes, with these upgrades, I mean, I guess theoretically there's a snap save. Okay, there's one.
The Aghanims.
That's a ways away though.
All right,
you know?
Start saving Gojira. Got your job.
But it just speaks to like how important his positioning is going to be for the rest of this game.
Yeah, the one nice thing is they changed the role so you can BKB between the chain stuns. He wasn't able to get it off in the last fight, but you'll need a lot of follow-up between the Pango roll, the Slardar bash, the Mirana arrow. There's a lot of different factors that will lead into it.
All right, now the chase. Moonlight Shadow heads on through.
Can't get caught if you're not with the team. All right, can't be first one dead in the team fight if you're not there.
I like this.
Holding a nice ward though. This is LGD doesn't really want to force it into the ward. They kind of want to bait the mid lane, and when someone pushes the lane, they want to jump. And anytime you walk high ground into a ward, you know it's there. That's when the fights get hard. They have perfect vision of you. They always get the initiation on you, and it's a little scary.
Oh, Crush to start. Good BKB. Faith Beyond trying to bring down Stinger. They're cooking him around. Gets a little bit of separation. C-Smile also not forced to use that BKB.
Wow, very interesting. That's an expensive start to a fight to go for BKB on the edge kill like that. And Hector now has a Manta as well, so isn't going to be forced that BKB necessarily
Looking
early.
for the chase. Big jump. Nothing to say. Will he get it off? He does. Rolling around back and forth, but they've already killed off the Undying. Now looking for nothing to say. They get him caught. And the Chrono on the side. Ame, he's in trouble with the Manta, the Batches. Do they have enough to bring him down? BKB gets a little bit of separation. They don't have Manta to take off that silence. So Ame is going to get back home again, able to escape. Still a fight win for BEASTCOAST.
Well, unfortunately for them, though, it's not going to find the big prize there quite yet. Bit of a long wait here for them in the river.
And they, just as they said, all they want to do is jump mid. But they weren't fast enough on the connection on the Enchantress. They used the roll. He doesn't get the stun on the Storm either. So they have to back out. And there's also this really nice ward. It's left over from the fight in the Tricamp from 4 minutes ago that BEASTCOAST did, and that's why they get the jump there.
Yeah, it's actually crazy it's survived that entire time. Yeah, a bit rough there, unfortunately, for LGD. Definitely not a team who you typically see like miss a clear like that after an engagement in that territory.
Chrono used, though. So another big timing. Now, even when Roche respawns, there won't be a Chrono. So a little window for LGD to take a good fight.
I will say also, if Faithbeyond can get into this Aghanim Scepter, that's going to be another huge moment for them, just being able to stand in those puddles. But
they've also had a good ward hanging under. They see Gojira.
See Smile jumped right at the start. Where's the save? Cookie out. The Wave Z gets out of there. Oh my God, the Cookie save. It actually worked. But Whisper, he's the one that's caught now. Force Staff. Dude, BEASTCOAST, they're covering each other really well, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. Faithbeyond is too strong on this Slardar. Stinger controlled, also killed. LGD find another win here. And this time, Roche is ready for him.
Oh, you saved your Storm. That part's great, but obviously not having the Chrono there, they can't really fight. You're gonna head immediately into the pit, and this is the big moment we're waiting for. And Ame having so many struggles with the positioning this game, picking up a Blink Dagger.
Interesting. A very different look for him. And they're actually not trying to go in for the Roche. Instead, they want to keep finding kills. Gojira in some trouble. C-Smile trying to interrupt and get his buddy out, and actually might just do it. So raking the Blink Dagger of that Slardar, and they're buying enough time.
This is worrisome now for LGD, though. Chrono's up in 5 seconds. There's potential for them to contest this Roshan.
Yeah, looks like it won't end up happening, but with how much they delayed it from BEASTCOAST, very surprising, because honestly, it looks like it's going to be pretty free. The birds are going to come in, they're going to see that this Roche is dying right now. It's not going to be able to ruin any of their plans, as the Aegis and Shard will both be picked up there. And Shard, currently in the hands of XinQ. He's just the courier, unfortunately. Yes. Wait, are you sure? Wait, what? Mirana Shard?
The 4th leap.
That's not your favorite?
I do like the 4th leap, man. They're giving it to the Slardar, actually.
The Slardar is really nice. It lets him not have to press ult before he's crushed, so he doesn't have to worry about kind of slowing down, missing an attack by pressing ult.
Yeah.
So it's all about the burst now for Void. If Void lives, BEASTCOAST probably have a good chance of winning the fight. If Void dies without pressing Chrono, without pressing BKB, I don't really see a way for him to fight LGD.
Yeah, of course, speaking of Shards, it also doesn't have the Shard on the Faceless Void right now either.
They've changed it a lot so that it's more, you don't need it as much, but it doesn't become as good with it.
Right. You know, the interesting thing about this game, too, is that I think for either team, if you win one of these fights in the late game scenario, buildings are going to fall so quickly, whether it's with the Visage or whether it's with the Drow. It's just a scary, scary state of affairs. And uses the Manta, goes in, BKB out from Faithbeyond, and then tries to escape. Hector, lifted, arrow. He is going to use it now, but could jump forward. Oh, if he saw the vision there, might have gone for the Chrono.
Yeah, I think the call was from Gojira just saying, like, I'm not there for the follow-up. We don't have enough. We're losing out on some Storm mana. Just reset. Like, we don't want to force a fight into Aegis uphill by their outposts. Like, this seems like a bad idea, guys.
It does feel sometimes like it's, you know, pulling everybody back from ready to just jump on them.
There's a lot of back and forth in the fights. BEASTCOAST has a lot of, they have 4 staffs, they have the cookie, they have a lot of different jumps, so it always seems like they're able to kind of maneuver back and back and back, but it's all on, do they connect with the arrow, do they connect with the Pango rolls? It's just, at some point someone's going to get stunned. And whether or not the Void can protect by chronoing aggressively is the question.
It's a very interesting game when it comes to the terrain as well. In terms of like where the fights actually take place. Because like if you find these choke points with the chrono, that's obviously going to be very strong for BEASTCOAST. But at the same time, choke points for a Pango. Rolls all over the place, better combinations. There's a lot of ways to get over top of the terrain as well for both teams.
And that's just down to who finds that initiation. Bloodthorn completed now on the Storm as they are heading towards mid for BEASTCOAST. LGD continuing their spree down bottom as We'll likely see a couple more towers fall in the duration of this Aegis.
I think BEASTCOAST has been doing a very good job in terms of the lane pressure, which isn't necessarily something I would always say is like one of their strengths as a team. But all over the map right now, from like Whisper, Stinger, and Hector through a lot of this game to try and keep them in it.
Oh, jumps, back line, Whisper, getting enough separation, and well, Faith_Beyond might be in a little bit of trouble. He's pretty far forward. They get the pull for round 2. Hector gets a good chrono, but it doesn't find the Drow. That's not good enough. He's gonna kill off that Undying. C-Smile gets some separation. Ame wanted to chase, but can't quite go for it. Nothing to say, backs away, and the Tombstone is down. So they find 2 kills in the midst of the Aegis and with the bad chrono.
I think they just jump a little too far. All the TPs take so long. It takes 7 seconds for even Drow to just show up to the fight. So now by that point, the BKB on the Slardar is out. I think they just chase a little too far.
Yeah, it's a bit of that dragging out the fights that you were talking about before. Able to sort of like break things back. Very good versus an Undying, typically, right? But that was excellent timing. As you can see, like we got Wraithback and we got the Tombstone here. And Snapfire, you only get so many shots, right? Only a couple, 6. I'm counting in there in the revolver, right? And hard to bring down both those targets. So still pretty good for BEASTCOAST, but again, it's that same notion of just like, okay, the chrono's down. What do we want to do now as LGD?
The other big thing is they glyphed the tier 2 bot, and it was not their first tier 2, so there's no glyph reset. The next 5 minutes, there's no glyph for BEASTCOAST, so LGD has the opportunity to push towers, but anytime you lose fights, if you're not very, very confident, like, they don't have chrono, guys, we can go. It's, maybe you're going to step back, say, oh, we need this next item, we need to go together more, play a little slower.
Oh, Coach, he's hopping all over the place, skipping some pot
Good
here.
crush. C-Smile has to zip away from that one. And it looks like he will get away, and see if Gojira also does. Faith_Beyond, is he lucky? I can't quite get him.
He's ogre flopping, he's cooking, trying to get away as fast as possible.
Also, there's something interesting is C-Smile went back for the Orchid, 3rd item, which isn't too common these days. A lot of the Storms have been going for a Witchblade or an Ags. He's going for the Ags next, but I think he's kind of recognizing that Nothing to Say doesn't have any defensive items, but thankfully for him, he's just picked up an Aeon Disc that's locked. So he's trying to just BKB, go in, jump out, create a chaos in the fight, and then his re-engage is when he actually uses the Orchid. That's when the BKBs are down, the Manta's down, the roll is down, you get the kill, and hopefully at that point the fight's over.
I feel like he's been getting away with a lot this game on the Storm as well. Like I feel like C-Smile's done an excellent job of just holding his BKB for the opportune moment. He's had a lot of times where I really thought like, okay, like, I would need to BKB here. Like one straight arrow, I'm just dead.
Or a bash
I'm
from
in way
Nothing to
too much
Say.
panic right now.
He's been playing it perfectly. Exactly what they need from him. And this Midas paying off, has the Mjolnir done now. Could think about a chrono again if they feel so inclined. But it looks like the call is going to be wait for that Scotty to get there.
It's actually, it's flying there right now, so.
He is mega farmed.
It's going to be very helpful if he is getting chain stunned up there. And as the game goes later, there's less and less concern to this idea of just like, okay, we can go now to the chronos down because like fights tend to get like a little bit more spread out. As
they also take longer.
Timers come out. Yep.
So the big thing right now for both teams are thinking, everyone's thinking about their carry players. They're still really important in this game. It's chrono the Drow, good chance of winning. The fight's maybe not over, maybe it's buyback, but that's all you need to do to win. And on the side of LGD, Ame is just thinking, how does he dodge the chrono? That's why he has the blink, that's why he has the pike. He wants to just not be solo chronoed. He can even hit the Void in the chrono and kind of dissuade him from killing his teammates. So both of them are going to be kind of playing this cat and mouse game where Void doesn't want to show because he always wants to be able to chrono, and Drow doesn't want to show until he sees the Void. So everyone else is going to have to throw their bodies in. I think that's why Faith_Beyond keeps going first.
Jumps first. There's an opening, and can they bring him down? Yes. Why dead? Uses the chrono on Faith_Beyond, and 2 of his other teammates also.
Really
go rolling inside. They will bring down 1, but Nothing to Say, still ready to fight. But look at him. K1 right on top of Ame. The Shadow Blade keeping him alive.
Faith_Beyond bought back.
Can they do it? Round 2 of the ZQ. They turn, they bash, they crush. C-Smile doesn't have any mana left. Has to get out of there. Whisper playing a little bit of intercept at the moment. But with the chase down, Ame coming in. Hector turns, tries to bring him down. Oh my goodness gracious. And kill him off. 3 dead for nothing. This fight is looking all LGD. As Whisper also, he too will die.
Yeah, they went for a cheap start to that fight, throwing the kisses on the Undying, trying to get themselves just 1 leg up in this engagement. But then the big chrono, right? Catching Faith_Beyond, but also to the allies, so the damage can't come out there in time. That exact plan you were talking about, Gunnar, in terms of like Ame not being in there, just waiting that damage from the Faceless Void, just chucking that damage into the chrono. BEASTCOAST could not get enough of the start of this engagement.
It looks really good. Undying gets no spells off. He instantly dies, and Faith_Beyond's stuck. Doesn't get his BKB off before the chrono. He goes down. But you can see how tanky he is. The Void has to use his entire BKB duration, the entire fight, the chrono just hitting the starter, and he buys back and shows back up in the fight.
Yeah, and the terrain coming to play for sure, right? Nothing to say, like, dream situation. He can bounce off whatever he wants this engagement, gets a couple heroes through that big roll, and then, of course, C-Smile as well, finally getting caught very early without the BKB. Didn't have a lot left. And, you know, I noticed that Gojira was also holding 6 mangoes in his backpack, so he's trying to make some cool plays for his Storm, but when you die, you know, not that helpful.
What a big opening for him. LGD, as BEASTCOAST are losing that fight with the Chronosphere, things are really going to start sliding away from them here.
It's a fairly late Roche. Still 2 minutes now for it to respawn. Gojira does take the little Shredder attack, so a little more helpful for the Tombstone killing.
Yeah, that's huge, actually. And the Wraith Packs, of course.
Yep. 2 big things that are just, you know, hit-based, right? You don't need to do damage, just hit it very fast and you'll get rid of it. Also, it looks like Faith_Beyond's going for an Aeon, which I kind of like, because again, his job in this game right now is just to go in, BKB. That's why he buys the Ags. It tanks him up, gives him stat resistance, and just exist in the fight. And he forces the chrono, which is all he needed to do.
It does feel like there might be damage problems later and later, though, I feel like, for LGD, you know? Like, there's so much control, and, like, we're buying these Aeon Discs on your mid laner and on your off laner, but at the end of the day, if Ame is the one who, like, let's say, like, goes down at the start of this fight, it is really going to be tough for them.
Yeah, nothing to say, hasn't even combined his yet. It's still locked in his inventory. He hasn't felt any threat yet. And he also took the Rolling Thunder duration, which is not that common these days as a talent, but it kind of shows that both him and Faith_Beyond just are creating chaos, kiting the fight out, stunning heroes, and just playing for this slow fight where at some point, Drow's going to proc her ult 3 times in a row.
It's not slow. This is the dieback.
Faith_Beyond in trouble, starting to drop down low, but not dead yet. Bouncing back and forth, and C-Smile barely survives through that one. As they will find the arrow onto Hector. Manta jumps out, jumps back in. Chrono! Oh! He did it to him! And now Mirana already hit. Turns on to Ame, looks for a couple more punches. And Faith_Beyond, he survived through so much of this, but as they chase him through the river, usually Slardar's strong there. Not this time. 100 seconds dead. The time walk in and back out was exactly what they needed.
From the brink of death into a double kill there for Hector, bringing it back there with the chrono. Whew. And the die back there of Faith_Beyond, it's going to give so much space now for BEASTCOAST, and maybe they can finally get themselves near this Roche pit in a successful time.
That's actually the first time they're going to be set up for it. 80 seconds with no Slardar.
That was a nice jump.
See how close it is to just killing the Storm here. He loses with such little health. He gets out, and Hector just also gets caught by the Yules. It looks really bad here. He gets Yules, arrow, doesn't get his BKB off, Manta dodges.
That's a Scotty. Some health right there, you know?
It feels, I mean, it's a choice, right? To take that. You can always BKB out of Yules, right? So he decided this is going to keep me alive. I'll be able to survive through it, and the plan was there the whole time.
Also, unlucky for Faith_Beyond, he had a bash actually queued up, but he gets a first hit bash from Hector, just kills him right there.
He's smiling.
Unlucky, I guess.
Unlucky. It's always the bashes.
Arrow out. LGD, can they contest this?
They do have roll.
They're in the area. Roche is falling quickly, but BEASTCOAST, they're already in position.
Gojira, okay.
They're just ready to go, man.
Yeah, he doesn't want any blinks happening.
And a full bot refresher. Jumps forward, pulls onto one. Ame controlled. If they do, they have enough. The BKB, the turnaround. Trying to back out of there. Hector right on top of Ame, but they've already killed one.
Of course it was the Ags, right? You know?
Oh, yeah.
Ags from Roche.
Yeah, of course.
He was already queued up. He's 4,000 gold, but
On Sachet, Xingqiu also going to drop now 10k gold in the lead. BEASTCOAST looking to come in here, shock the world, take down LGD. We'll see if they can do it in this game 1.
that's also why this third Roche is so important if it drops an Ags. It's 6,000 gold, instantly swung every time you get the third Roche. It just...
That could have been any better, you know? Like, of all the heroes to get an Agnums at that moment, to chase down right after the fight, knowing you have so much confidence. And of course, you know, Hector obviously recognizing just how important that Chronosphere is. He's sitting here with the refresher. Chrono just came back up. They're on the high ground. They've got the minus armor. Going into these buildings here, they want to get a little bit of something here before backing up.
What more can they do? LGD,
Mangoes, right? He's back in full man on the Storm.
He's ready. They knew the whole time this is going to be a lane of racks. They're bringing back nothing to say now, but the jump forward, they find why. He's in trouble. Ame trying to stop the bleeding, but there is no tourniquet here. It's all gone.
They just keep finding the kills and kiting them out. I think especially it's just Chris Luck. The amount of times he's able to survive, get pulls off cooldown again and again and again, just all they need
For
to
the
do.
crush, the roll forward. Starts the fight. The arrow is there. Where's the save? Looking for the cookie. Gets him in a little bit deeper. K1 caught. That's Aegis down. This is the best that LGD can hope for right now. Can they keep it going? Looks for it. Hector, dude, he just goes in. It's only for an Undying.
Careful now, he's got one more.
Round 2. Chase. Look for more. Gets out just barely in time.
How does this guy hold his BKB?
She's not afraid. Meanwhile, the Enchantress comes in and is going to just be safe.
Okay,
Fourth staff, cookie, everything. BEASTCOAST get out.
And they can't even chase. They know that the Storm TPs, but there's still another Chrono just ready.
Oh, the crowd's starting to get into it a little bit here. They're feeling it. And for LGD, again, this team that has made it to so many finals, been top 3 or top 2 year after year after year, this would be such a huge upset.
Casual 1K swing, 2 bounty runes, just chilling in the Radiant jungle, you know?
And now Krisluk also has a refresher of his own. So 2 pulls, he has to time this relic, so it's now like a 3.5 second stun just on the Storm. Pretty much 2 black holes now on the side of BEASTCOAST. That's not even commitment. He can jump in, jump out, not feel too bad. He has a lot of mana regen. Maybe more mangoes will come out from, you know.
And I don't know if you saw that, but the Storm Spirit, just a little lesson for your pubs out there. Carry some dust, folks. Even's,
Explain yourself. What do you mean?
I thought that was a support item.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Isn't he a mid?
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
So they're going to look to push high ground. Again, they have only 1 Chrono right now, but it doesn't seem like LGD can actually take the fight to them. Ame just has to get a really nice burst on that Void. You saw how fast he died with the Corrosive Haze. That's what they need to do. Kill him in 1 stun and hope that's enough.
Yeah. The Silver Edge here.
Tower fallen, roll in, jumps out. A stun used, nothing to say, not doing enough. Meanwhile, kisses come from on high, separating LGD, forcing out that Moonlight Shadow, but they are not willing to back out yet. As BEASTCOAST have another round of summons, waiting for that next creep wave to come through.
No more roll now, though. It's a really big tool that the LGD needs to use. Nothing to say his whole build is kind of around using the roll to extend the fight.
Gets vision, misses on the jump. C-Smile backs out. Hector, control onto 1. They find the Drow in the back. Right on top of him. In the meantime, Q is there too. Gojira lost his mind, lost his life, but the jump in and they find nothing to say. Oh God, Hector, he's taking so much damage with the marksmanship and the amp. Chase, nothing to say, looking for it. The crush is there, a couple of punches, but K1 gets out.
Whisper's coming in.
He's right on top. C-Smile finding Bastion, trying to kill. Will it be enough? The Hex is there, a couple more punches. Ame's dead. Whisper barely survives through. K1 jumps in, finds Undying, trying to bring him down. Ame is still beaten though. He's got a ton of damage. K1 has to be careful. A couple more marksmanship rocks is all he needs, but he gets away again. No, Bango! Nothing to say. He salvages it. They jump in and get the kills. BEASTCOAST, they get a lot of objectives, but LGD, they're not out yet.
It's the mega creeps, though.
That is rough. That is real rough. They're running down the lane immediately.
Hector has the buyback, but yeah, as he escapes the fight, he walks to mid. There's only 1 Ranger Axe left, but LGD can't stop him from taking the Rex. There's a whole fight going on, so secures the Mecha Creeps, goes back in for the fight. The backtrack, he's level 25, has 20% chance, but not enough.
And down bottom, there's a DD, but they're not going to check for it. It's going to instead head up towards the high ground now. LGD with a creep wave and a dream. They buy a Deso. They want to go for everything here. Can they do it? This would be a miraculous comeback if they could make it happen.
It's just all the 1 stun, right? And that Aeon Disc also still prepped here from Faith Beyond. He brings it back out into his inventory here. Might give him that chance for the control here. He doesn't care about his damage.
There's only 1 Chrono for the next 50 seconds, so we'll see if Hector, if he gets forced to use this refresher, it's pretty scary for him. It will be 3 minutes with no Chronos.
Whisper's coming back.
All minus armor.
We saw the plan last time. Oh,
jumps in. Hex, control.
Yeah.
Faith Beyond survives. Aeon Disc keeping him alive. They're TPing in right now to this catapult. Creeps are in LGD's base. This is about as all in as you can get at this point, but they're not willing to take that risk yet.
Oh, and Hector, he's got a little surprise.
They got to call it. Oh, they're backing out.
Oh, he sold it. He bought a blink, got rid of it.
He wants to save the... Well, I guess he doesn't have buyback anymore, so kind of all in. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he just buys an Aeon Disc. At this point, all he needs to do is press the Chronos and exist in the fight.
Yeah.
BEASTCOAST will win.
It's dangerous. Again, without buybacks, and you know, we look at this lead, 15,000 gold, mega creeps into the favor, but you're still dealing with a Drow Ranger. Like, if you lose with no buybacks in this game, East Coast will still lose.
And you saw what the plan was, like, way back on that fight, you guys remember, in the Radiant base. Gojira being by the fountain, like, how does that even happen? That's literally just, I'm just trying to stop Drow, right? Like, I'm getting on top of the Drow, that's my job. We didn't pick the Earth Spirit, the Tusk, the Clockwork, so I guess that's just me, right? So
I think what he was trying to do was buy a Ghost Scepter from the enemy fountain, but he actually had, I think, 6 items in his inventory and 3 in his backpack, so he couldn't get an item slot to get the
fruit stand, dude.
Yeah, those mangoes. It's too much, too much.
There's also a cheese just hit, you know, hanging out in the pit. Gojira just notices it.
Nice, nice.
Like, guys, this is pretty good. A couple of laughs. He didn't have a space for the cheese either. Had to drop some dust.
It's a TI classic, you know?
It really is.
The Ags is the important one.
Yeah, that's true.
Chasing, looking for the
this
courier.
Ame now completed.
That's
also
big.
something interesting, Hector went for the Eagle Song of his Swift Blink instead of the Blink Dagger itself. So 25 agility is very important for him. He could go
Not
Butterfly.
versus Drow, it's not, but you know.
He could go a Butterfly, but I think it's just me a Swift Blink. I'm just surprised that he would pick it over the Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
Ame actually completed the Aeon Disc as well, so needs to be careful about taking any extra damage casually, just in case that one gets procced on something else and doesn't have it for the chrono.
What happens when carry players see that item? You know, they don't really understand how it works. Someone has to explain it to
My
them.
God. Unbelievable.
It's only Faith Beyond right now with buyback for LGD, so this is the scary part. You have one hero with buyback, but he's not the best at pushing out lanes, so you feel like, you know, there's pressure on the Pango, pressure on the Drow to kind of be the ones to push these lanes out, but they get jumped, they're out of the game. So they're kind of forcing Faith Beyond to always have to push every lane out, and he's a Slardar. He doesn't want to do that. So instead, they're going to try to smoke up and get a kill while Gojira is pushing out the mid lane.
Yeah, and he's just so quick on that too, right? Like, they know what the situation is.
All the lanes gone for a minute. LGD, they would be looking for a kill. They're gonna get some D wards open up their jungle to let Ame get some more farm. But eventually we'll be pulled back in.
Now, keep in mind though, you know, like you said, there's no buyback on Hector, right? Oh, okay, big jump.
Jump, finds one. That's a quick kill onto Y, and with no buyback, this fight just got a little bit harder. Faith Beyond looking, they wanted to defend that ward, but it's a bit too dangerous. Faith Beyond under the Moonlight Shadow, the birds with Whisper right on top, walks in vision, gets him there. Hex, Chrono, connects, Faith Beyond, also nothing to say, they got him. Second round Chrono ready to go, waiting for their moment though. Do they have the mana? Hector jumps in, gets the Chrono onto Ame, and the chase comes. See Smile, Aeon Disc, it keeps him alive for a moment, but only a moment. Although he gets the BKB off, now a little bit of a runaway. The Gash, okay, a couple more punches. Cheese, see Smile, backs away, survives, jumps back in, tries to bring down one, nothing to say, still living through it. He's silenced forever, but they don't have the damage for the kill. That's a couple Chronos, a lot of ultis used, and LGD, they still survive.
Even holding the buyback there on the Undying. Okay, couple here, obviously losing a Faith Beyond, that is a bit rough. But he is what, 3,000 gold he can spend without care now at this point.
Yeah, cheese used on the Storm. That's why he survived that fight. But Refresher on the Storm, Refresher on the Void. Visage has to resummon birds. It's just it's so scary. You almost see Faith Beyond just goes down instantly here, but a nice quick Force Staff kind of pushes him back.
Really has been the story of this game, it feels like. It's just the positioning. Just like pulling everything apart, trying to drag you through these fights. And you know, even for a Storm Spirit with the cheese, like he needs so much mana to get around.
Faith Beyond has to be careful here. He doesn't have buyback. They will find Gojira. They'll find Stinger. Roly-poly, no Chrono. Gotta be careful. Jump in, find one. Thinking about running onto Ame, but this fight's getting a little bit weird. Silence connects onto C-Smile. Whisper there. Finds Xingqiu. Does get the leap out. Again, these moments as Roche is about to respawn.
And 4 seconds.
And usually they're in the position. He zips right through the
good
pit
blink.
right now.
Good blink away. See Smile just threatening, but look at him.
They just missed it.
The tier 4s are going down. They need to get back home. Nobody's home at the Ancient. The fight is going on. LGD might just lose this game while the fight is happening. Nobody is home. Oh, the creeps, they're pretty strong. Beast Coast gets some help from Love as those catapults are going to bring him down one by one. Faith Beyond trying to stop it.
Yes, sir.
Do they even get any damage onto the Ancient? Defense of the Ancients. Whisper moves on in with the birds ready to take it down. A couple more punches is all they need. 1.
There's really